The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was bigger than Earth's moon and filled with beings from across the galaxy. Today was special. Today, the humans would ask to join the Galactic Council. Ambassador. Minho walked through the long metal halls of the station. His black suit was perfect. His shoes made soft sounds on the floor. Behind him, his helper Nari carried a small bag with Earth's gifts for the council members. She was nervous, but Minho looked calm. Remember, Minho said quietly to Nari, "We are here as friends. We want peace." Nari nodded. She had studied the alien races for years. The Vorthok looked like walking crystals that sang when they talked. The hegemony were like giant ants with sharp minds. The Luminari were made of pure light and energy. All of them were much older than humans and much more powerful. The council chamber was huge. The ceiling went up so high that Nari could not see the top. 3 groups of aliens sat in a circle. In the middle was a small table where Minho would speak. The Vorthok leader, K-tall crystal being that glowed blue, spoke first. His voice sounded like wind chimes. "Humans of Earth, you wish to join our council. Tell us why." Minho stepped forward and smiled. "Great beings of the galaxy, we come in peace. Earth has learned from its dark past. We no longer fight wars. We have no armies. We only want to learn and grow with you." He pressed a button on his tablet. Pictures appeared in the air above the table. They showed Earth's cities with green parks and clean rivers. Children played in schools. Artists painted beautiful pictures. Musicians played soft songs. "We have ended hunger on our world," Minho continued. "We have stopped pollution. Our people live in peace. We offer our knowledge of farming, medicine, and art to the galaxy." The hegemony leader clicked her sharp teeth together. She looked like a giant ant standing on 2 legs. "Your species fought many wars. You killed millions of your own kind. Why should we trust you now?" Minho's face became sad. "You are right. We did terrible things in the past, but that is why we changed. We learned that war only brings pain. Now we teach our children to solve problems with words, not weapons." Nari stepped forward and opened the bag. She took out small gifts, a painting of Earth's sunset, a music box that played a gentle song, and a small plant in a clear container. "These gifts show who we are now," Nari said in her soft voice. "We create beauty. We grow life. We make music." Instead of war, the Luminari leader pulsed with yellow light. When he spoke, his voice sounded like electricity. "Your military records show many weapons, nuclear bombs, chemical weapons. How do we know you will not use them?" Minho looked down at the floor for a moment. When he looked up, his eyes were bright with unshed tears. "We keep those old weapons locked away as a reminder of our shame. They will never be used again. We promise this to you and to the galaxy." The 3 alien leaders talked among themselves in their strange languages. The Vorthok sang in high notes. The hegemony clicked and buzzed. The Luminari flashed different colors of light. Finally, the Vorthok leader spoke again. "We will think about your request. The council will meet in private to discuss this. You may stay on the station while we decide." Minho bowed low. "Thank you for this chance. We will wait for your wisdom." As the humans left the chamber, Nari noticed something strange. One of the council members was smiling, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had just found easy prey. Later that night, in their small room on the station, Minho sat at a desk writing notes. Nari made tea with hot water from the wall dispenser. "Do you think they believed us?" Nari asked. Minho looked up from his writing. "They believed exactly what we wanted them to believe, but everything we said was true. We do have peace on Earth. We do help each other." "Yes," Minho said, "but we did not tell them everything, did we?" Nari was quiet for a moment. She thought about the things they had not mentioned, the hidden military bases, the secret weapons, programs, the fact that Earth's armies had not disappeared. They had just become very good at hiding. "They think we are weak," she said. "Good," Minho replied. "Let them think that." For now, down in the lower levels of the station, in a room the humans were not supposed to know about, the three alien leaders met again. This time, they were not polite. Did you see how they cried about their past? The hegemony leader clicked with laughter. They are ashamed of their own strength. The Vorthok leader's crystal body glowed red with amusement. They have made themselves weak with their emotions. They will be easy to control. Their world has good resources. The Luminar leader pulsed, rich soil, clean water, and the humans can work in our mines and factories. "Should we accept them into the council?" asked the hegemony leader. "Yes," said the Vorthok, "but not as equals. They will be servants. They are too soft to resist." The three leaders laughed in their different ways. They had done this before. With other young species, they would welcome the humans, then slowly take control of their world. The humans would never fight back because they were too civilized, too peaceful, too weak. But high above them, I'm in another room that was supposed to be secret. Someone was listening to everything they said. G1 sat in front of a wall of screens and recording equipment. She was supposed to be a cultural expert, studying alien art and music, but that was just her cover story. Her real job was much more important. She spoke quietly into a secure communication device. "Command, this is Agent G1. The aliens have taken the bait completely. They think we are helpless. They plan to make us slaves." A voice came back through her earpiece. It was calm and cold. "Understood. How long do we have? 6 months, maybe less. They want to move fast once they accept us. Good work. Continue monitoring. Phase 2 will begin soon." G1 turned off the device and looked at the screens showing the alien leaders. They were still laughing and making plans for Earth's future. They had no idea what was really coming. She smiled, but like the aliens earlier, it was not a kind smile. The next morning, Minho met with the council again. The Vorthok leader announced their decision. "Humans of Earth, the Galactic Council welcomes you. You may join us as junior members. We will help guide your development and protect your world." Minho smiled and bowed deeply. "Thank you, great ones. This is the happiest day in human history." But as he spoke the words, he thought about a message he would send to Earth later that day. It would be short and simple. "We thank the Council for this opportunity to show our true nature." The message would seem like gratitude to anyone listening. But the people on Earth would understand its real meaning. It was time to stop pretending. It was time to show the galaxy what humans really were when pushed too far. The diplomatic phase was over. Soon, the aliens would learn that there was a big difference between choosing peace and being unable to wage war. 3 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. The aliens had wasted no time showing their true faces. On the colony world of New Busan, Governor Taman stood on his office balcony and watched the alien ships land. The Vorthok vessels looked like giant crystal spiders, their legs digging deep holes in his people's farmland. Black smoke rose from the landing sites where the alien ships had burned the crops. "Sir," his assistant Jong Ho said from behind him, the Vorthok commander wants to meet with you. Taman did not turn around. He kept watching the destruction of his colony's food supply. "Tell him I will see him in 1 hour. And Jong Ho, send a message to Hai Jin. Tell her it is time." An hour later, the Vorthok commander stood in Taman's office. The crystal being was 8 feet tall and glowed with a cold blue light. When he spoke, His voice sounded like breaking glass. "Human Governor, I am Commander Zelik. We are here to help your colony grow and become better." Kemen sat behind his desk with his hands folded. "Help us. You just destroyed 6 months of food crops." "Those crops were not efficient," Zelik replied. "We will dig deep into your world and find valuable metals. Your people can work in our mines. It is much better than farming. And if we refuse," the crystal alien's glow became brighter and redder. "You will not refuse. You are weak. All humans are weak. This is why the Council chose us to guide you." Taman stood up slowly. He was a small man, much smaller than the alien commander. But when he spoke, his voice was very calm. "Commander Zelik, I think you have made a mistake about humans." "What mistake? You think we are weak because we choose to be peaceful? But there is a big difference between cannot fight and will not fight." Before Zelik could respond, the lights in the office went out. Emergency red lights began flashing. Sounds of explosions came from outside, 20 miles away, in the forest near the colony. Hygiene lay flat on her stomach behind a fallen tree. She held a long rifle and looked through its scope at a Vorthok mining machine. The machine was as big as a house and had 6 crystal legs that dug into the ground. "Target acquired." She whispered into her radio. "All teams, remember, aim for the joints where the crystal meets. That is where they are weakest." 3 other voices answered her. "Team 2 ready. Team 3 ready. Team 4 ready." Hygiene had been a Special Forces soldier before she came to New Busan to farm. The Galactic Council did not know this. They thought she was just a simple farmer who grew vegetables and raised chickens. They were wrong. "Fire," she said, for shots rang out at the same time. The bullets were not normal bullets. They were made from a special metal that humans had developed in secret. When they hit the crystal joints, the alien mining machine began to crack and fall apart. The machine crashed to the ground with a sound like 1,000 windows breaking. Blue liquid that was the alien version of blood leaked from the cracks. "Nice shooting," came a voice over the radio. It was Sunho, the leader of Team 2. He used to be a sniper in the Earth's military. He pretended to be a school teacher. "Machine down," Hyjin replied. "Move to target 2." Back in the governor's office, more explosions shook the building. Commander Zelak's crystal body was flashing angry red colors. "What is happening?" he demanded. Taman walked to his window and looked out. In the distance, he could see fires where the alien mining machines had been destroyed. "My people are showing you that we are not as weak as you thought. This is impossible. Humans do not fight. You told the Council you were peaceful." "We are peaceful," Taman said, "when people leave us alone. But you did not leave us alone." Raised one of his crystal arms. Sharp spikes grew from it like weapons. "I will kill you for this." "I do not think so," Taman replied. The office door opened. 3 humans walked in. They wore black clothes and carried weapons that hummed with energy. Their faces were painted with dark colors to hide in the shadows. The aliens had never seen humans like this before. "Governor," the lead soldier said, "the area is secure. All alien mining equipment has been destroyed." Zelik stared at the human soldiers. But you are supposed to be farmers and teachers and artists." "We are," Taman said. "Hyjin grows the best tomatoes on the colony. Sunho teaches children to read. But before we came here, we had other jobs." On Earth, in a deep underground room beneath the capital city, President Seijin sat at a large table with 20 other people. The room had no windows and the walls were very thick. This was where Earth's real leaders met when the galaxy was not watching. "Report," the president said. Defense Minister Chun-hei stood up. She was a small woman with gray hair, but her eyes were sharp like a hawk's. "New Busan has successfully fought off the first alien attack. Governor Timon's people performed perfectly. Casualties: none on our side. The aliens lost 12 mining machines and 30 soldiers. President Seojin nodded. Good. What about the other colonies? New Seoul reports similar success. The hegemony tried to set up factories there. The colonists destroyed them all in 6 hours, and New Gangnam. The Luminari tried to take control of their power systems. The colonists shut down all alien equipment and captured 5 enemy commanders. The president looked around the table at his advisors. These people had been planning for this day for 3 years. Ever since they first made contact with the Galactic Council, they knew this would happen. It is time, he said. Activate Protocol 7. Chunhee pressed a button. On her tablet, across the galaxy, every human colony received the same message at the same time. The message was short. The mask comes off. Show them what we really are. On Nexus Prime Station, Jiwon sat in her secret room and watched the alien leaders panic. The Vorthok were flashing red and orange with anger. The hegemony were clicking their teeth so fast it sounded like machine gun fire. The Luminari were burning bright white with fury. How is this possible? The Vorthok leader sang in a high, angry voice. The humans were weak. They cried about their violent past. They lied. The hegemony leader clicked. They tricked us. The Luminari leader pulsed with dark red light. They told us the truth. They do hate violence. They do want peace. But they want it on their terms, not ours. Jawan smiled as she recorded everything. The aliens were finally starting to understand. But it was too late. She opened a communication channel to Earth. Command, this is Agent Jawan. The colonies have performed perfectly. The aliens are confused and angry. They thought they were hunting sheep, but they found wolves instead. Understood, came the reply. Phase 3 begins in 48 hours. Prepare for full revelation. Ji-Wan looked at her screens, showing the panicking aliens. Soon they would learn the truth about humanity. Earth had not gotten rid of its weapons and armies. It had simply gotten much better at hiding them. The humans had spent 3 years pretending to be weak and peaceful. They had fooled the entire galaxy. But now the game was over. Soon the aliens would learn that the most dangerous enemy is not the one who cannot choose peace. It is the one who can choose peace but decides to choose war instead. And humanity had just made that choice. Admiral Minji stood on the bridge of her warship and smiled. For 3 years, the Hidden Star had pretended to be a simple cargo ship carrying food and supplies between human colonies. The aliens had seen it fly past their stations hundreds of times and never suspected the truth. Now the fake cargo containers were opening. Inside were not boxes of food, but weapons that could destroy entire fleets. All ships, this is Admiral Minji. She spoke into her communication device. The hunt begins now. Across space, 40 other cargo ships began to transform. Their outer shells fell away like snakeskin. Underneath were sleek war machines painted black as space itself. The hidden fleet had been waiting for this moment. For 3 years. Ma'am, said Lieutenant Kiwan from his control station, we have enemy ships on our sensors. 12 Vorthok cruisers heading toward the new Busan colony. Perfect, Minji replied. They think they are going to punish the colonists for fighting back. Instead, they are flying into our trap. The Vorthok ships were huge and beautiful, like flying crystal cathedrals. They had won battles against 100 different alien races. They had never fought humans in space before. They were about to learn why that was a mistake. Fire, Admiral Mingi said quietly. The human ships unleashed their weapons. But these were not the energy beams that most aliens used. These were solid metal projectiles moving at incredible speed. When they hit the crystal ships, they did not just damage them, they shattered them completely in less than 5 minutes. All 12 Warthog cruisers were destroyed. Not one human ship was even scratched. "Too easy," Lieutenant Kiwan said, watching the alien debris float in space. "They built their ships to fight other aliens," Admiral Minji explained. "We built ours to fight them." On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Dong-Yun was preparing for a different kind of mission. His ship, the Righteous Fury, was invisible to alien sensors. It could fly right up to enemy ships without being seen. Today, his target was a hegemony command vessel orbiting the colony world of New Sol. The bug-like aliens were using the ship to coordinate attacks on human settlements. "Captain," said his weapons officer Sahi, "the hegemony ship is requesting permission to dock with that hospital ship." Dong-Yun looked at the hospital ship on his screen. It was white with red crosses painted on the sides. It looked harmless and peaceful. The hegemony commander probably wanted to check if there were any humans inside who could be taken prisoner. "I grant them permission," Dong-Yun said with a wicked smile. "Sir, but that ship is full of wounded people. Look closer, Sei." She checked her sensors again. Then her eyes went wide. "Those are not medical readings. Those are ... soldiers. 200 of Earth's best Marines, all pretending to be hurt," Dong-Yun confirmed. "The hegemony are about to get a very nasty surprise." The hospital ship docked with the alien command vessel. 20 hegemony soldiers came aboard to search for prisoners. They found hospital beds filled with humans covered in bandages. The humans looked weak and helpless. The alien soldiers lowered their weapons. That was their last mistake. The wounded humans threw off their bandages and attacked. In 30 seconds, all 20 alien soldiers were dead or captured. The human Marines then took control of the entire hegemony ship. "This is Colonel Jinwoo to Righteous Fury," came a voice over the radio. "Target secured. We now control their command systems." Captain Dong-Yun laughed. "Excellent work, Colonel. Sahi, patch me into their communication system." "Yes, sir." Tension. "All hegemony forces," Dong-Yun spoke in the alien's own language. "This is Captain Dong-Yun of the Human Defense Force. Your command ship now belongs to us. Surrender or be destroyed." But instead of his voice, what came out of the alien speakers was music. Human war songs with heavy drums and screaming guitars. The sound was so loud and violent that it made the bug-like aliens panic. So he had programmed the system to play Earth's most aggressive music on all frequencies. The hegemony soldiers could not communicate with each other over the noise. They could not coordinate their attacks. Many of them simply fled in terror. Down on the surface of New Sol, the colonists heard the music too. They cheered and began their own attacks on the remaining alien forces in the deep forests of New Gangnam Colony. Young-ho crouched behind a tree and watched the luminary energy beings floating toward his town. The aliens looked like living lightning, crackling with power. They had come to take control of the colony's power plant. "Yun-bi," he whispered into his radio. "Are you ready?" "Ready," came the reply from his partner. She was hiding near the power plant with 30 other colonists. "The Luminari think they can just absorb our electricity and make themselves stronger." "Let them try," Young-ho said. He pressed a button on a small device in his hand. Across the colony, machines that looked like normal mining equipment suddenly came to life. But they were not mining machines anymore. The colonists had rebuilt them into weapons. The machines began shooting nets made of special metal wires. When the nets hit the Luminar, the energy beings could not break free. The metal was made to conduct electricity, but in a way that trapped the aliens instead of letting them flow through it. "It is working," Yun-bi shouted over the radio. "The Luminar are caught." More colonists came out of hiding. They were carrying devices that looked like simple farming tools. But when they activated them, the tools created fields of energy that made the Luminar weak and confused. Within an hour, all the alien invaders were either captured or fleeing back to their ships. "How did you know this would work?" asked Dayan. One of the younger colonists, Young Ho, smiled and patted the strange device in his hands. "Because we have been studying them for 3 years. Every time they visited our colonies, we learned more about how their bodies work. Now we know their weaknesses better than they do." Back on Nexus Prime Station, the emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was chaos. The 3 alien leaders were shouting at each other in their different languages. "This is impossible," sang the Vorthok leader. "Humans do not have this technology. They were supposed to be primitive. They have been lying to us from the beginning," clicked the hegemony leader. "Everything they showed us was fake." The Luminary leader pulsed with angry red light. "Not fake. Incomplete. They told us they had learned to choose peace. They did not tell us they had also learned to choose war." Jiwan listened to everything from her secret room. She opened a communication channel to Earth. "Command, this is Agent. Jiwan, the alien leaders are completely panicked. They have lost ships, colonies, and soldiers across the galaxy. They are asking how this is possible." "Tell them the truth," came the reply from Earth. It was President Seojin himself. "The masquerade is over. It is time for them to meet the real human race." Jiwan smiled and began typing a message that would be sent to every alien leader in the galaxy. The message was simple and direct. You wanted to see weak humans who had given up violence. You thought you could make us your slaves because we chose peace over war. But you made one mistake. You forgot that choice means we can choose differently when you give us no other option. We are not weak. We are not helpless. We simply decided that being civilized was better than being savage. But civilized does not mean defenseless, and choosing peace does not mean accepting slavery. You have seen what happens when humans defend themselves. This is only the beginning. Surrender now, or learn what 3 years of preparation looks like when humans stop pretending to be harmless." The message was signed, "The human race no longer playing nice." For the first time in galactic history, the mighty council members felt real fear. They had awakened something they did not understand. Something that had been pretending to be weak while actually becoming the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The humans had been preparing for this war since the day they first met the aliens. Every smile, every peaceful gesture, every act of diplomacy had been part of the plan. Now the galaxy would learn what happened when you mistook human kindness for human weakness. Secretary Jin Woo sat in his new office deep beneath Earth's surface. The sign on his door read, Secretary of Unlimited Warfare. It was a job title that had not existed a week ago. Now it was the most important position in human government. "Sir?" His assistant Q-Man said, holding a tablet with reports from across the galaxy. "The alien fleets are regrouping. They are preparing for a massive counterattack." Jinwoo looked up from the battle plans on his desk. His eyes were cold and hard. "Good. Let them come. It is time to show them what unlimited warfare really means." He pressed a button on his desk. Around the galaxy, human forces received new orders. The rules of civilized war were now officially canceled. On the research station, hidden behind Earth's moon, Dr. Ariam worked in her laboratory surrounded by alien specimens. Before the war, she had been a peaceful scientist who studied how different species lived and grew. Now she was Earth's chief weapons designer, and her job was to kill aliens as efficiently as possible. "The Vorthok virus is ready," she reported to Jinwoo over a secure communication line. "It will turn their crystal bodies against themselves. They will literally tear themselves apart from the inside. And the hegemony weapon, even better. The fungal spores will enter their breathing systems and drive their entire hive minds insane. They will attack each other instead of us. What? About the Luminari, Riam smiled, but it was not a kind smile. I have created a special electromagnetic pulse that will scatter their energy forms. They will lose the ability to think or maintain their shape. They will become nothing more than random lightning. Jinwoo nodded with satisfaction. Deploy all weapons immediately. Target every alien military installation. Sir, Ariam said quietly. These weapons will also affect alien civilians. Children, innocent people who never wanted this war. Jinwoo was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was sad but firm. They should have thought of that. Before they tried to make us slaves, we offered them peace. They chose war. Now they get war. Across the galaxy, human ships began releasing Ariam's biological weapons. The results were immediate and terrible on the Vorthok homeworld. Crystal beings began cracking and shattering for no reason they could understand. Their perfect crystalline cities started to collapse as the virus spread through their population. In the hegemony hive worlds, the bug-like aliens turned on each other in a frenzy of violence. Entire colonies destroyed themselves in minutes as the fungal spores drove them mad with paranoia and fear. The Luminari energy beings found themselves scattered and broken, unable to maintain their forms or communicate with each other. Great energy cities went dark one by one, but the humans were not finished. In a secret facility on Mars, Dr. Sunwoo ran the Psychological Operations Division. His job was to break the aliens' minds before their bodies were destroyed. Begin broadcast on all alien frequencies, he ordered his team. Across the galaxy, every alien communication device began showing the same message. It was a recording of human history, but only the worst parts. Wars, genocides, torture, and cruelty beyond imagination. The images were so violent and disturbing that many aliens died from shock just from watching. The message that played with the images was spoken. In Sunwoo's calm, friendly voice, "Hello, friends from the stars. You thought humans were weak because we chose to be peaceful. You thought we were harmless because we felt guilty about our violent past. But you misunderstood something very important. We did not become peaceful because we could not be violent. We became peaceful because we were too good at being violent. Every terrible thing you are seeing in these images was done by humans to other humans. We did this to our own species, people we shared a world with, people who looked like us, people. We could understand you are not our species. You do not look like us. We do not understand you, and we do not care about you. If we could do these things to each other, imagine what we can do to you." The psychological warfare worked perfectly. Alien soldiers began surrendering without fighting. Entire fleets fled from human space. Some aliens killed themselves rather than face capture by humans. But Earth's most terrible weapon was still to come. Dr. Ji-hoon had been a theoretical physicist before the war. He studied the basic laws of reality itself, how space and time worked, how matter and energy behaved. Now he used that knowledge to create weapons that should not exist. The reality bombs are ready for deployment, he reported to Secretary Jinwoo. "Explain how they work," Jinwoo said. "They delete things from existence." Ji-hoon replied simply, "Not destroy, delete. The target ceases to have ever existed. No explosion, no debris, no trace that it was ever there. And the side effects, unknown. We are literally changing the laws of physics in small areas. Reality might... break." Jinwoo thought about this for exactly 3 seconds. Deploy them against the alien home fleets, all of them. The reality bombs were launched from hidden human bases. They looked like simple metal spheres, no bigger than baseballs. But when they reached their targets, Entire alien fleets simply vanished. One moment, a Vorthok armada of 500 ships was attacking a human colony. The next moment, there was empty space. The ships had not been destroyed. They had never existed. Even the aliens' own records of the fleet disappeared from their computers. The effect on alien morale was complete and total. Collapse. But humans were not just fighting the three council races. As the war spread, they discovered that dozens of other species had been enslaved by the council over thousands of years. Director Duong ran Earth's new Alien Relations Department. Her job was to find these enslaved species and teach them how to fight back. The Karathi were enslaved 800 years ago. She reported to President Seojin. They have been forced to work in council factories ever since. They want to join our rebellion. What can they offer us? Intelligence? They know every council facility, every weak point, every secret. They have been waiting for someone strong enough to lead a rebellion. And what did they want in return? Freedom and revenge. President Seojin smiled grimly. Give them both. Within days, human advisors were teaching the Karathi how to make bombs, how to plan attacks, and most importantly, how to hate effectively. The humans were very good teachers. Soon, the galaxy was burning. Not just from human attacks, but from dozens of enslaved species who had finally learned to fight back. The Galactic Council found itself facing enemies on every world. In every system, the Vorthok, Hegemony, and Luminari leaders met in an emergency session on their most heavily defended station. We must surrender, pulsed the Luminar leader weakly. His energy form was flickering and unstable. The humans are not just defeating us, they are erasing us from existence. Impossible, sang the Vorthok leader, though his crystal body was cracked and dim. We rule the galaxy. We have ruled for 10,000 years. Not anymore, clicked the Hegemony leader. Half her hive mind was dead or insane. The humans have turned our own slaves against us. They have created weapons we cannot understand. They have broken the laws of reality itself just to hurt us. What kind of species does this? The Luminar leader asked. The answer came from an unexpected source. A human voice spoke from their own communication system. The kind of species you tried to enslave, said Director Chawoon from her office on Earth. Oh. The kind of species that spent 3 years studying you, learning your weaknesses, and preparing for this exact moment. The kind of species that knows the difference between civilization and weakness. You are monitoring our private communications. The Vorthok leader sang in shock. We have been monitoring everything for 3 years. Your military codes, your personal messages, your deepest secrets. We know you better than you know yourselves. What do you want from us? Unconditional surrender, complete withdrawal from all enslaved worlds, reparations for every species you have hurt, and a promise to never again mistake our mercy for weakness. The 3 alien leaders looked at each other with whatever emotions their species could feel. They had ruled the galaxy through fear and strength. Now they were being dictated to by a species they had planned to use as servants. And if we refuse, the Hegemony leader clicked. Chayoung's voice became very quiet and very cold. Then we will show you what happens when humans stop pretending to be the good guys. Outside the station, human ships waited in the darkness. Not the cargo ships that had fooled the aliens before. These were pure war machines, designed for only one purpose. The aliens had awakened humanity's capacity for violence. Now they were learning that some things should be left sleeping. Admiral Byung-ho stood on the bridge of the Earth's judgment and watched the Council's capital world grow larger on his screen. The planet Centraxis had been the seat of galactic power for 10,000 years. Today, it would fall to human forces. All ships. This is Admiral Byung-ho. He spoke into his communication device. The final battle begins now. Remember, we are not here to destroy. We are here to teach. Around him, 200 human warships moved into attack formation. Behind them came ships from 50 different alien species, all former slaves of the council who had joined humanity's rebellion. The defense of Centraxis was massive. Thousands of alien ships protected the planet. Energy shields covered the surface. Weapon platforms floated in space like deadly stars. It did not matter. The humans had been planning this assault for months. "Begin the demonstration, Admiral," Bung Ho ordered. The human ships did not attack the defenses. Instead, they fired a single weapon at empty space near the planet. The reality bomb detonated silently, and a section of space simply ceased to exist. A perfectly round hole appeared in the universe itself. Then the hole began to grow. "Attention Council forces, Admiral Byung-ho, broadcast on all frequencies. That weapon will consume your entire star system in 6 hours unless you surrender immediately. You have 10 minutes to respond." The alien defenses fired everything they had at the human fleet. Energy beams, missiles, plasma cannons, all of it struck human ships without effect. The humans had spent 3 years studying alien weapons. Their shields were perfect. 5 minutes remaining, Admiral Bianco announced calmly. The hole in space continued to grow. It was already swallowing asteroids and small moons. The aliens could see their own doom approaching, unstoppable and inevitable. "We surrender," came a desperate message from the planet's surface. "Please, stop the weapon." Admiral Byung-ho smiled and pressed a button. The hole in space stopped growing and slowly began to shrink. Surrender accepted. Prepare for occupation. 2 hours later, President Seojin walked through the halls of the council building on Centraxis. His feet made soft sounds on the marble floors where alien emperors had walked for millennia. Now those emperors knelt before a human leader. The 3 council leaders waited in their great chamber. They looked broken and defeated. The Vorthok leader's crystal body was dull and cracked. The hegemony leader had lost most of her hive mind to madness. The Luminar leader could barely maintain his energy form. Honored council members, President Seojin said politely as he entered the room, "Thank you for meeting with me." "You want from us?" The Vorthok leader sang weakly. President Seojin sat down in the chair that had once belonged to the council's supreme leader. "I want to offer you a choice. The same choice you offered us 6 months ago." "What choice?" "Can join our new galactic government as junior members. We will help guide your development and protect your worlds." The 3 aliens stared at him in shock and horror. "You are going to enslave us." The hegemony leader clicked. "No." President Seojin replied. "We are going to civilize you." He gestured, and his aide Yuzhin stepped forward with a tablet. She had been Earth's top diplomat before the war. Now she was director of galactic rehabilitation. "This is our plan for the new galaxy," Yuzhin explained. "Every species will have equal representation in the government. Every world will be free to choose its own path. Every person will have rights that cannot be taken away. And if we refuse..." The Luminar leader pulsed weakly. President Seojin's expression became very serious. "Then you will be removed from positions of power, and your species will be supervised until you learn to behave properly." "This is not possible," the Vorthok leader protested. "The galaxy has always been ruled by the strong." "Yes, President." Seojin agreed. "And now it will be ruled by us. We are the strongest. But unlike you, we choose to use our strength to protect the weak instead of enslaving them." Yuzhin activated her tablet. Images appeared in the air above the table. They showed human ships distributing food to starving alien colonies, human doctors treating alien diseases, human engineers rebuilding worlds that had been strip-mined by the Council. "We have been doing this for 3 months on every world we have liberated," Yuzhin explained. "We do not conquer to steal, we conquer to free." The alien leaders watched, the images in confusion. They had never seen conquerors behave this way before. Why? The hegemony leader asked. Why help species that are not your own? President Seojin stood up and walked to the great window that looked out over the capital city. Below, he could see humans and aliens working together to repair the damage from the war. Because that is what civilization really means, he said. Not just being peaceful when it is easy. Not just being kind to those who look like you. True civilization means choosing to do the right thing even when it is hard, even when it costs you something, even when the other person cannot force you to be good. He turned back to face the alien leaders. You ruled through fear because you are not truly civilized. You were just strong bullies who had never met anyone stronger. But strength without wisdom is not civilization. It is just savagery with better weapons. Ambassador Minho entered the chamber. He had been the first human to speak to the council 6 months ago. Now he carried the new galactic constitution that would replace the old system of slavery and oppression. The new Galactic Federation is being established, he announced. 47 species have already joined voluntarily. 23 more have requested membership. Representatives from every species will meet next month to create the laws that will govern us all. And what of us? The Vorthok leader asked. What happens to the former council? You have 2 choices, Minho replied. You can join the Federation as equal members and help us build a better galaxy. Or you can be treated as war criminals and spend the rest of your lives in prison. The 3 aliens looked at each other. They had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Now they were being offered a chance to become ordinary citizens in a democracy run by their former victims. We will join, the Luminar leader said quietly. We will try to learn this. Civilization ... That you speak of. President Sejan nodded. Good. But understand this, you will be watched. If any of your species try to return to the old ways, if you try to enslave or oppress anyone, you will discover that humans can be much less forgiving than we have been today. 6 months later, Ambassador Minho stood before the first session of the new Galactic Federation. Representatives from over 100 species filled the Great Hall. The chamber had been redesigned instead of 3 powerful rulers looking down on everyone else. Now all the seats were at the same level. Honored representatives, Minho began. 6 months ago, the old council believed that humans were weak because we chose peace over war. They thought our guilt over our violent past made us easy prey. He paused and looked around the room at the diverse collection of alien faces. They were wrong about many things, but mostly they were wrong about what strength really means. They thought strength meant the ability to hurt others. We know that true strength means the ability to choose not to hurt others, even when you could. In the back of the hall, the former council leaders sat with the other representatives. They were no longer rulers, just voices among many. They listened as the human ambassador continued. The galaxy learned something important during our war. The most dangerous species is not the one that cannot choose peace. It is the one that can choose war, but decides not to until you give them no other option. Minho smiled, and this time, it was a warm, genuine smile. We pretended to be civilized to give you all a chance to be civilized too. Some of you chose to see that as weakness. We chose to show you what strength really means. Now, let us try this again properly this time. The new Federation voted unanimously to adopt the human proposal. Mutually assured civilization, the idea that all species would choose to be peaceful, not from weakness, but from strength. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. And, for the first time in galactic history, peace was maintained, not by fear, but by the shared understanding that everyone was strong enough to destroy each other, and wise enough not to. The humans had taught the galaxy the most important lesson of all. True civilization is not about being unable to do evil. It is about being able to do evil and choosing to do good instead. Earth's last words to the old galaxy had been fulfilled. The mask was off. Everyone had seen humanity's true nature, and that nature was this. They were exactly as dangerous as they needed to be, and exactly as merciful as they chose to be.